Oh my God, guys, it's so beachy. It's so beachy. Okay, so I literally can't stop smiling. There's 3 different things I say on this podcast a lot, like fuck, and I go anyways, or I'll repeat exactly what I said twice. I listened to a podcast on my way down here of my own, narcissist, hashtag. I'm gonna make a narcissist shirt. We're all gonna buy them, okay? And I was like, wait, holy shit, I actually hate the way I talk. So we're gonna work on that a little bit. But anyways, long story short, it's number 4. I say that a lot too. I have been a little bit exhausted, I'm not gonna lie. The moving process of moving, first of all, for those that are new, or just a quick little update, I always say that. I'm like, for those that are new, and then I go ahead and explain my life every single episode. For those that are new, I just moved. Honestly, if you're not new, I just moved. I know I talked about that, I think, on last episode or the episode before. I finally moved, though. My lease started in my new place February 1st. Sorry, this volume is like ear raping you guys, and I'm trying not to do that. My lease started in this new place February 1st, but I didn't get down here until the 2nd, 24 hours later. I moved from Georgia, my hometown, Atlanta, where I've been living for the past like 4-ish months, down to South Florida. And I live in a place right now, guys. I have for 3 days, so it's new, but I literally don't know anyone. The moving process, I obviously am in a place, like, it looks like I literally decorated the hell out of this place. I guess you can only see like not even a fourth of it, because I'm in a little corner, but the place was furnished, which helped a lot. I was looking for places. I literally, guys, I'm not kidding, every winter, even since my parents moved to Florida. The way I explain this, it's very confusing to those who don't live in the Southeast because it's just hard to understand. And I even grew up in Georgia and I didn't understand this. Basically, where I grew up in Georgia, if we ever went to Florida to go to the beach, it was 5 hours away. So we would drive 5 hours down to the beach and you would get white sand, crystal clear blue water beaches. It looks like you're in the Bahamas, genuinely. And so to me, I'm not going to spread my legs open. To me, that was always Florida. Like, I was just like, okay, Florida's 5 hours away. Well, then I had some neighbors that lived across the street. Shout out Dylan and Devin, the Knowles. Love you guys. And they would go down to Florida almost every year to visit, I think, their grandparents. And they were like, yeah, we have to drive to Florida. It's like 12 hours, or like, I think they said like 10 hours or something. And I was so caught off guard. I was like, wait, what do you mean? It's like 10, 12 hours. Like, it's literally 5 hours away. So then I was like, oh, there's like a whole other chunk of Florida, because my ass wasn't looking at a map back in the day. Well, if you get out a map and you look at Florida, there's basically this whole strip that is just like underneath Georgia and Alabama. That's called the Panhandle. I call it the ball sack of Florida. And then Florida is like it. I remember I explained it this way one time and now I can't get it out of my head. And I know it's a little bit dirty, but like, it's okay. I'm 21 years old. It looks like a penis. It literally looks like a penis if you were looking at it from the side. If a guy was like in a Pilates class and had one leg up and you were looking at his junk from the side, that is what the state of Florida looks like. It has the balls and then it has the penis. Well, the tip of Florida is like, I don't even know what is all the way down there. Miami's like getting towards the tip, okay? That's like pretty much. And then we have like Key West that's off to the side. That's not really even in the shape. Doesn't fucking matter. Long story short, I'm near the tip now and my parents are up in the balls. So to go to my parents, it's like a 9-hour drive. So I think a lot of people think I moved back to my parents' house, but I actually moved further away from where my house was in Georgia. So I am in Florida. Long story short, I got a place. I've always looked, even my parents, this is what I was trying to say. Even my parents, when I was living with my parents in Florida, I still always wanted to move down here because where my parents live, they just got 9 inches of fucking snow. It's not like some tropical ass winter Florida. It gets cold there. So every winter I've been like, I'm not staying here. I want to leave. They also live out in the country. You guys know I would get bored out there. So every winter I would try and find a new place. Obviously, this past year, I decided to move to Georgia for a little bit, where I grew up. I did my time there, and I'm going to tell you guys what the turning point and shift for me was to make my decision. I have to leave and try it for at least a little bit. Okay, so I know I've explained the lore of growing up. I've always had this like runaway mindset where I've wanted to kind of escape everything, everyone I know, and just like run away and start a new life. I will say I have always leaned towards like beachiness when I grew up. Anytime we would go to the beach, anytime we would do any of that, when Soul Surfer came out, I was like, that is what I want. I remember I learned how to play the ukulele. I would collect bathing suits. I was just obsessed with the beach. I had a surfboard that literally sat in the corner of my room in Georgia. I had a surfboard that sat, it was a foamy wake sport, whatever that is, foam surfboard that sat in my room. It was 10 feet tall. Put it in the corner of my room. I've always been obsessed with the ocean and beach. Don't know why, don't know when that got instilled in me, don't know if I was born like that, but like in a past life, I swear I was a Hawaiian surfer legend. Like I was fucking amazing. Or I worked at like a bar in Mexico and was like a little server. I don't know, one of the two. So when I graduated high school, my family moved to Florida. I was super excited about it, but I just didn't really love where they moved. And I think the biggest thing for me has always been, like I've explained to you guys, it's scary to like kind of move somewhere where you don't really know anyone, especially it's like there's benefits and then there's also cons to, I feel like, my position of like online stuff. I think the benefits are it's easier to meet people because, I mean, honestly, same for anyone. It's easier to meet people because you're online. And then I think also for me, like I'll have some of y'all DM me that are like, oh, you moved to my area, whatever. But then also like, I think the con of that is my job is weird because I feel like people do already know me. So it's kind of like, okay, wait, you have trust issues a little bit. Not that anyone's has ill intent, but there are people with ill intent, and I've met people with ill intent. Also, people have personas of you when they first meet you. They expect you to be a certain way. I think also the safety factor fucks with me a little bit. Living alone, recording like every second of my life, that was really scary for me. My mom grew up on Dateline and raised me on Law and Order, and I've also had that scariness in my mind. Like my dad was literally like, yeah, Kelly, you instilled the fear in Sadie. You know how they say you can't live in fear? I definitely somewhat have for a little bit. So moving out the first time was scary for me, but I also was moving out to live with my brother. So we were moving back up to our hometown. My brother was going to do his baseball stuff up there in the off season. And I liked Georgia. I think it was a good stepping stone. I was really annoyed at first because me and Wyatt, my brother, were in kind of like a sketchy place where we were living, and I didn't feel comfortable there alone. So then I was literally living in a hotel. It was only like a week, but I literally just went to a hotel and was like getting a room at a hotel, which was way too fucking expensive. Kind of not the best financial decision I made there. And I just felt weird because I've wanted to move out for a long time, but at the same time, I knew I didn't want to go to Georgia, and I didn't really have the push to try something new yet. Like honestly, in my mind, I was like South Florida, Hawaii, like one of those is where I want to go. And the benefit of living at home would be with my parents in Florida would be I can go back to their place. Sure, there's not a lot for me to do there, but I feel safe, so I can focus more and I can get my work done, and then I can travel. So it's like the best of both worlds in a way. It just got to a point where I'm 21 now. I would get frustrated with my parents. Like, you know what I mean? They would get frustrated with me. It was just getting to a point where something needed to change. Well, being in Georgia for a little bit, I was very comfortable. I got my own place. I went and got furniture. Shout out everyone who helped me move in. One of them is like married off now. Love you. Hope you're doing great. Miss you. Sad face. Just kidding. He's like a brother to me. I wonder if my neighbors can hear me. They're all old, so I hope they love this. I don't know. It was like, I'm not going to lie, the first 2 months, like October and November, were really just, I was like kind of sad, like kind of just crash out vibes, kind of lonely. It was just like such a change. I don't do very good with change. I think I'm growing to do better with change, seeing that I've moved here and I feel more comfortable. I think the first initial one was just very like, what am I doing? Because, like my job doesn't put me anywhere. I've explained that. So that feels weird. And then also like moving back to your hometown after you've already left, that's super weird. Like super, super weird. I don't think necessarily staying in your hometown. I think when you stay in your hometown, you always just think, what would it be like if I left? But I think leaving and then going back is kind of weird because it's like you're happy that you get to see more people that you know, but then you feel like you've already opened a new chapter and you're almost flipping back in your book. So it was just like weird vibes the first 2 months. And then once I got settled, I just felt very, very comfortable. So like the month of December, I was just like, okay, cool. I know what it's like here. I feel comfortable living alone. I am making all my own meals, completely out on my own. I'm living my own life solo. I was just really bored. I was very, very bored. And the things that I was doing to keep my schedule filled up, I was just like, I could be doing this at home and be saving rent every month. And I know that like it sounds dumb, but moving to my hometown, it wasn't like I was seeing people I knew all the time. A lot of my friends stay super busy. I could have stayed through my whole lease and just like, rocked it out. But I just never felt like that was smart. I kept on extending it month by month. Like the first month I was there, I went down to the leasing office and I was like, hey, I'm done. I'm going to be leaving after this month. And they're like, oh my God, already? And I was like, yeah, it's just not for me. Like, I'm sorry. And then I called and I was like, I'm going to stay one more month and try it. So I stayed one more month and I was like, I'm going to stay one more month. I'm going to leave on January 1st. Well, then I was like, January 1st is New Year's Eve, like the night after. So I actually want to leave the next month. So I go, actually, I'm going to leave February 1st. So I kept extending it and I was going to just say, leave it through April because I think it ended in April. But I came across this video. Okay. I came across this video on YouTube. And the only other place I was really considering moving was down here, just because it's still kind of like winter months everywhere else. And down in South Florida, it's like literally 80 degrees out and sunny. And I came across this video on YouTube. I'm going to link it down below for you guys. But it just said, you'll see this when God knows you're ready to hear it. And it was just a bald guy with a beard. So I clicked on it. And this guy's like, hey, if you're seeing this, it's not a coincidence. Like one of those typical videos you see on TikTok or whatever. Don't want to take credit away from him, so I'm going to link it down below. But this is basically the gist of what he said. He goes, I was on a morning run and it was still dark out, like whatever. And he goes, and I got to a point in the run where there was two options. I could go down the street that was kind of like street lit, there was lights, whatever, or there was kind of lake I could go around and it was pitch black and like countryside. And he goes, well, I really didn't want to go around the lake, but I did. He goes, so I turned on my flashlight and I'm running and I hear this dog barking. And he's like, and I am literally just like, oh shit, like there's a dog barking. He goes, but then I kept going. It got louder and louder. And he was like, I genuinely was like gonna shit myself. Like it's a bear. Something's out here. What the hell? And he goes, next thing you know, a German Shepherd is at me, jumping up, trying to get on me. I can hear his owner yelling. And he was like, and I had one of those moments where I was like yelling at the owner, like, what, get your dog, whatever. He goes, well, wound up finishing my run, didn't really think about it. Well, then he was on a walk. I think he said it was nighttime and he came across, the same area. And he goes, and I didn't want to go around the lake again because I'm like, surely that dog is going to come after me again. And he goes, but I did it. I just did it anyways. And I went around the lake and the dog didn't come after me and it was fine or whatever. And so he just goes on to explain that if you always live your life, I don't know exactly what he said to explain it, but the wording was similar to like, if you live your life based off of things that have happened in your past, you're not going to get anywhere. You're not going to grow or whatever. And he was just saying, I could have never went down that trail again just because of that German Shepherd and because it was like a little bit scary. And he was like, but I did it. Like I just did it anyways. And it didn't come and get me that second time. So he basically goes on to say like, we let things from our past or excuses we make for ourselves hold us back so much that we don't take like the scary road, and the scary road is what leads to growth. And honestly, I could not agree more with what this guy is saying, because I do feel like in my life, things that have led me to get things I've wanted. And I'm not saying that once you get what you want, your life is perfect. I feel like I really try and preach that hard. But things that have gotten me things that I've wanted have been scary. Like those jumps and those pushes have been scary. And I know to an outsider's view, I'm just a girl who does social media and whatnot. Even I think Chapel Roan, I'm not exactly sure how you say her name. She's someone who's so inspiring because she's been in the music industry, I think she said the other night at the Grammys, for like 11 years. Obviously, she is blown up over the past like 2. So people thought she was brand new to it. But she is like, I've worked at this for so long. And I think for me, like even making videos when I was 13 on my spring break, I think the first video I ever made was like this tropical aesthetic video down at the beach. Posting that and then putting it on my Instagram story like, hey guys, go watch this. That was scary as shit for me. Like I now don't even think about it. It's like second nature. But doing that first initial jump was so scary. But if I had never done those things, I would never be sitting right here with a microphone, probably living in South Florida like I've always wanted to. Like the things that I have gotten have came from me doing things that are like a little bit uncomfortable. And I know it probably sounds so privileged to say that my uncomfortable thing was to post a video on YouTube and then promote it on my Instagram story. I know like that sounds so stupid, but there are those things that are scary. Even like, I guess to bring it back to school, I remember in school when I was super, super sad, super depressed, like really wanted to get the hell out of there, I would go to the guidance counselor and like talk to her about that. And I remember that was really uncomfortable for me. I never wanted to go in and talk to the guidance counselor about how I was feeling. When I was going through that mental state, going and talking to someone about it, that was like odd and really uncomfortable for me. But if I had never done that, I would have never been able to do school from home online, get way better in my mental health, and start YouTube. Like there's just things that we don't want to do because they're uncomfortable, but they lead to things we want and better outcomes. And overall, they help you grow. And I think that's like the main thing this guy was trying to say here is he was like, we were not put on this earth. God did not make you, put you on this earth, give you dreams, give you like goals, and give you your health and all of that to just be comfortable. And yeah, I said, I don't think we can ever achieve things that God has put us here to do unless we take those dark and gloomy roads. And it kind of leads back to having faith. My whole process until I would say honestly this past year and past October of me finally moving out and taking that stepping stone of like being on my own, I would get so sad about it. And it was always the same excuses of like, I can't live alone because it's not safe. I can't live alone. Or I'm in a weird position because I don't need to live anywhere else. So I can just work remote from home with my parents forever. Realistically though, I was just scared. And then also 3, I know this is like an excuse that might sound shitty to you guys, and I don't want you to think it's anything against you guys because I love you guys, but I definitely get social anxiety, and it's weird meeting new people because, like I said, what I do, even just moving to a new area and like going to the stores, it is a little bit scary when you have no idea when someone next to you knows exactly who you are. And that can go for whether it's a 17-year-old girl who just is like, oh my God, I saw you move down here and I wanted to say hi. My name's this. Like, if you ever need anything, reach out to me. It's amazing. It's great. It's just when you're standing there and you have no idea whether someone's going to say that or not, it's scary. Or if it's a 40-year-old man who's looking at me weird and he follows me on Snapchat, like, and he's standing there, you have no idea if he knows you. Like, it's just, that's the part that's always kept me kind of sheltered and scared because I do so much alone. But I can't live like that forever. I can't live in my hometown in Georgia and always dream of leaving and being somewhere else and want to be, but make the excuses of, oh, well, one time I was at home alone and this happened and that's why I can't live alone, because that doesn't mean that's going to happen every time I live alone, and I just have to have faith and whatever. So I don't know. I just kind of wanted to start the episode off with like telling that story. That was what initially, when I saw that video, I was like, I need to go. And even like I would talk to my mom about it all the time because my mom and I are super, super close. And you know, what mom wants their 21-year-old daughter who has had weird things happen to them, realistically, because of my job, living by themselves. Like, she's not always said, don't like go out of your comfort zone, but you know, it makes her uncomfortable and scared. Like Kelly lays awake at night worried about me, and I'm sure I probably will be the same about my kids. I'm blessed to have that in my life. But she even was like, I saw this Mel Robbins podcast and it was about in your 20s, move somewhere you've never lived before. And I kind of was like, yeah, you know what? Sadie needs to just go do it. And I feel like there's something to be said about a mom's approval. Like when I kissed that DILF and I was in New York, I obviously called my mom and I was like, are you mad at me? And she's like, why would I be mad at you? I'm not mad at you. And it immediately made all my anxiety go away. The virtual boy was like crashing out at me and it low-key made my anxiety spike, but it's okay. We need to stop talking about him. I cut him off. You guys would be so proud. We'll get into that later. But I just think like my mom saying that and then me kind of wanting to leave, and what I found is kind of like a diamond in the rough where I'm at. I have literally always wanted to live here. Like I've visited down here many times and I feel like I kind of manifested it for myself. I've literally always wanted to live here, and I actually know like a family that lives not even 10-minute walk from me. So that definitely has made, I don't know them well, like at all. It's honestly a connection just through my grandparents. But knowing that I have like someone made me be like, okay, if I have them, that's fine. Obviously my friend Lexi, Hair by Lexi, she lives in Fort Lauderdale, Florida. So that's like not too far from me at all. I have a guy friend that lives down here, but realistically, I don't know that many people. Also scary. But it's kind of exciting. Like, I think there's something to be said about spending a lot of time alone. I don't think it's like extremely healthy to completely isolate yourself from the world and human beings. But I think if you can, like, I feel so blessed and lucky to be having this time of my life to find out who I am and what I like. And like, I don't know. I'm just kind of like, yeah, I live down at the beach, and I live down at the beach because I love the beach. Like that is something that I love. I'm not forced to be here. I don't have to be here. It's not like I'm just here because my boyfriend's here. And even if you are somewhere just because of that, I think even just spending time alone to find things you like, whether it's painting or you really like Pilates or you really like cooking or baking or you love writing, like just when we're at this age, we don't have to grow up so fast. I think it's good to let our minds kind of still be in that zone of being kids, because realistically a lot of us get out of college or get out of high school and we all have to get jobs, and I think it just like forces us to grow up really fast. But those dreams we had when we were kids should still be dreams and still be realistic to us. Like, you know how when you're a kid it's like, oh, I want to be an astronaut, and everyone's like, yes, but then obviously, maybe that doesn't happen. It could, not saying it can't, but maybe it doesn't happen. And then, you have your job where you're like a real estate agent and you're like, yeah, me thinking I would be an astronaut. Go get a book and read about space. Like, you never know. You could still unlock things that you really like. And then like you pick up a hobby where you really love space and learning about it. And it's something that makes you happy alone. So I don't know. I just feel really grateful and blessed that I have this opportunity to explore the part of me. Like, I feel like I'm living out the dream that I always had. Like, I always dreamed of living at the beach and being like a coastal beachy girl. And I guess I kind of experienced that living with my parents in North Florida, but not to like the fullest potential. And this is something I really feel like, I don't know, I feel like proud of myself, not to sound like a narcissist, but I think for anyone that's done it, or even if it's not moving somewhere where you don't know anyone, even if it's like just going out of your comfort zone and going to a workout class. Like, even me, I won't do that. Like, I know that sounds crazy, but I literally won't do that still to this day. I would have to have someone with me. So doing something little like that, or even if it's literally going to the grocery store by yourself and shopping, I know for some people that takes a lot. Like, we live in a world now where we don't really have to have any social interaction, and it can be scary to do that. It really can. I'm not trying to even sound like a softie, but that can be scary for people, because I know sometimes when I sit in the parking lot of the grocery store, I'm like, maybe I'll just place an online order and come back and get it later. I get it. So wherever you are and whatever little things you're achieving, just know I'm proud of you. But I do really encourage you guys. I told you I'd be giving you homework, and the homework I want to give you is, I know even me probably talking about this, there's a little inkling in your brain of something that you've been wanting to do or you've been wanting to try or would be out of your comfort zone. I challenge you to do it or to take a step into doing it, because I don't know, guys, like I really am so much more similar to all of y'all than you probably realize. And I think it'd be cool to see someone being like, Sadie Curl left her hometown, I left my hometown. Like, I know I'm obviously in a position where it's easier for me, and I get that. My mom left her hometown when she was my age and came down here and got a job. Granted, she did have a family member that she was living with. So it's like, you have to kind of find ways to figure it out, and it takes time. And if you're really struggling to do this, I promise you, give it time, pray about it, and think about it. Know that's your goal. Keep working towards it, and it will happen for you if it's right. Like, I promise you, there's been so many times where I have tried to move down here and it hasn't worked out, and I realize now it's because it wasn't meant to be yet. Like, I really think I'm finally at a place where I can come down and enjoy it. I drove down here last year and looked at a place, and I remember I got in the apartment and I left and I started crying because I was like, I'm going to feel so lonely. Like, I'm going to feel so alone. What am I doing? And I think it's taken milestones and steps and God to align everything correctly for me to now come down here and go, no, I actually feel like I am gonna love it. So just give yourself some grace, give yourself some time, and yeah, I don't know. That would be my advice for all of you. But I do really think Mel Robbins is onto something when she says, in your 20s, it's the perfect time to take risks, to do things that make you uncomfortable. What this guy was saying, you're not going to grow by staying comfortable. And that's how I felt in Georgia. I felt so comfortable. And I was just like, this is great and it's cool and I'm glad I did it, but I'm not going to grow by staying here. And I'm so happy right now. Like, I really, really am. And I pray that it works in my favor and I can keep kind of being good and liking it down here, not only for me but for you guys, because I really want to try and grow. It's gonna work out and I have a lot of faith. And like I said, I just want this to be a year for me to grow, but I also want to be inspiring to you guys. Like, I really want to try and better myself and find things about myself I like, and not this be like a self-help thing, but I love how Mel Robbins hops on and like says things that people need to hear. And I want to live and then be able to come and talk to you guys about it. Not only like, oh, I got so hammered this weekend in New York and I made out with the 41-year-old. Like, yes, obviously we're going to still have those moments, but I also want to have moments where I'm not trying to be like, I help you guys, but I help myself and then I can share it to maybe help others. So yeah, this is a new chapter. I'm so excited. I'm excited too for the vlogs, because I think like this new place I'm in, it's so beachy and coastal and perfect and beautiful. And I feel really, really grateful and really blessed. And it's really cool. It's really interesting. I'm such a little loner. All of my neighbors are pushing 70 and I literally don't care. I love it. Something I've always wanted to do is like volunteer at a retirement place. I don't really know, but I've always wanted to like volunteer there and stuff, because I love older people. Like, I can sit down and listen to them talk for so long, and I've always wanted to do that. And honestly, living here, I'm like, damn, I don't even need to like go volunteer somewhere, because I mean, no one needs help here, I don't think, but like, they're all old and like I love it. Like, it's so amazing. It's also so awesome too, because I do have kind of social anxiety, like I was saying, at stores and things like that. And I feel like where I'm at right now, everyone is so much older to where like I go to the grocery store and there's not even a thought in my mind that I'm gonna see like anyone, which I obviously like from time to time. But when you like go into a TJ Maxx or a Marshalls or a Home Goods, and there's just so many people that it's like, oh my God, there's people here, but they're all older. So like I feel like I'm swifting through that bitch. Like I'm getting through the aisles. I will say the selections of clothing are definitely a little more grandma-y, but it's cute. It's like coastal grandma and I like it. But yeah, that is my update. I'm going to try and upload this day of. My mom helped me move in. She is gone now, back up to no flow. I guess South Florida is called SoFlo. I wonder if North Florida is called no flow. Probably not, but we're going to call it that, no flow. Kelly is driving back up there, and I honestly didn't film a lot. We filmed a little bit in the car, but it was just good to spend time with her. I don't know. We don't get as much time together, and I know it does make her sad. She doesn't have me in the house or my older brother. I don't know. I think I'm like a very big personality, especially with my parents. So I know for them not having me there, it's probably a little bit peaceful, but then a little bit boring. But I think it's good down here. I think I'm going to meet more people. I think it's just exciting. It's exciting to go places and not know people. I love meeting new people. I think also like the going out scene, like being able to hop on the interstate and be in Fort Lauderdale and go out to a place where I don't know everyone is going to be nice. Going out in my hometown, it's very just like mundane. Is that the right word, how to say it? I don't know. But you just like see everyone you know, which is nice. But like I feel like that's nice when I'm like ready to like pop out some babies, you know what I'm saying? So yeah. But then it's also funny because like there's lore and I love lore. Anyways, I did say on the What's That Team, my Instagram, for you guys to insert some things and give me some things to talk about. Okay, someone said, are you a wellness girly? If so, give some ideas for a wellness/health journey. Here's what I will say. Actually, this is perfect for right now because I have noticed the biggest difference in my stomach issues the past week, I want to say. Living alone, well, even with my parents, I started doing this like at home Pilates stuff. I do Fit with Coco method. Everyone has always asked me what my workout routines are. I used to be super consistent with it. I got consistent with it again in Georgia, but then kind of have stopped. I haven't done like a ton this year just because it's been like a little bit hectic in January with traveling and then being down here now, but I really want to get back to it. I probably will, especially living here and not really knowing many people. I'll have more time on my hands. It's basically like mat Pilates, and it's Pilates times strength. So you use weights. I use weights up to like 25 pounds. It's a really, really good workout. I like it. It is a little more on the expensive side, but personally, I think if you're using it a lot, it's worth it. It includes meal plans, stuff like that. I don't use all the meal plans, but I do try during the week to eat pretty clean. And if I eat out, I would say I eat pretty clean too. And by that, like, I do a lot of I try and do whole foods. I always thought I was dairy. Like, I had dairy issues. I had gluten issues. Like, I just thought any food would make my stomach hurt. Truth be told, my diet was just complete shit. And I think growing up, that's fine. Like, I'm glad I got my years of fast food. I still love a good fast food. But when I am eating clean and at home, my stomach doesn't hurt and I don't bloat nearly as much. Another thing too, I try and do coffee after food. I try not to have coffee before my food anymore. It would make me bloat a lot. I try not to do a ton of milk either. So yeah, I also walking. I tell people all the time, get out and walk if you can. Trying to get at least like 5,000 steps a day is like, that is what I would like my minimum to be. I try to do 10K. When I do 10K steps a day, I feel amazing. I feel so good. So yeah, I think I honestly want to do a YouTube video getting into like my health and wellness stuff, because I think it's kind of cool, like over the years, how that's changed. I literally used to roll out of bed and get like Dunkin' Donuts every single day, and I don't regret it at all, because on the weekends I be hitting that shit up. But it's all about balance, I do think. And I also think too, don't push yourself so hard in the gym and be like crashing out over not seeing results, because I have honestly seen more results doing like chill workouts versus like trying to run 3 miles a day. Like when I was running in Georgia, I don't really think running was doing much for me other than just like, you know, you get your cardio in. But like walking and doing these little like mat Pilates things, guys, these mat Pilates things, I know like Pilates Princess, all that. I'm not sure about the reformer ones when you like go to the places and use the machines, but this mat Pilates with my weights and my bands, that shit will fuck you up. Like, I will be sore to the point where I can't sit on the toilet seat correctly. They get you going. My ass, it's kind of back on the flatter side right now. When I was doing these, I remember people were like, where did your ass come from? And I would be like, literally my mat Pilates classes. Also, eat your protein, babe. Like, eat a steak. If you're hungry, make a chicken. Like, literally go get grilled chicken or just chicken breast at the store. Put some olive oil on them. Put whatever like seasoning you want. I literally just do salt, pepper, garlic powder, onion powder, Italian seasoning. Throw that bitch on the stove, take it off, put some honey on it, make some scrambled eggs with some cottage cheese. So good. So good. Good for you, and you're getting so much protein in. The second I started doing all of that, eating healthier and trying to just be more active overall, biggest difference ever. I also don't beat myself up if I like go out and I get Chick-fil-A fried chicken and fries and I have 3 Chick-fil-A sauces with them and a milkshake, and like I don't beat myself up over that. I'm like, okay, I really wanted that, so I got it. But like trying to just balance not doing that every single day, and then also walking, doing an ab workout if you want. Even after dinner, I had one of those walking pads. I would like eat my dinner and then I'm just like, you know what, I'm gonna throw something on the TV and I'm gonna walk on that little pad, and I would walk on the walking pad and get like I could walk a mile on it and not even realize it, and I'm like, oh, and it's just like you feel better. And prioritizing sleep, but I've never done that. I sleep like, guys, I'm not kidding, 5 hours a night probably. Yeah. Unless I sleep in really, really late and it's like completely throws off my rhythm, I probably get like 5 hours of sleep every night, which is horrible. But I just don't sleep a lot. I'm not a great sleeper. I slept like a baby when my mom was here, though, I will say. Someone said, what do you want to achieve this year? What do you want to achieve this year? I'm going to ask you, what do you guys want to achieve? Comment it down below, or if you don't feel comfortable, go put it in your notes app, and I want you to write down 3 things you're going to do to help you achieve that goal. I would say something I really, really, really want to achieve is I want my style to level up a little bit, and I want to kind of be like more put together. I would say I'm not a very like dirty, messy person. I think just because my ADHD is so bad, if there's things everywhere, my brain then becomes a mess. So I kind of try and stay somewhat organized. It's not insane by any means, but somewhat organized. But I would say I just want to kind of like get better at throwing outfits together and like putting cute things together. I don't know. I feel like for the past 4 years, I've been such a just like jean shorts. I'll go get a tank top at Walmart and cut it in half and throw it on. And I love it. But I also want to look a little bit more like, I would love for people to be like, oh my God, she wears cute outfits. She has cute style. So I want to achieve that. That's probably top of my list at the moment. I'm about to have to go through my bag of clothes in the closet. I also have a jean haul I'm going to post for you guys on YouTube. How do you know you're on the right path in life? P.S. I love you. I love you so much. The answer to that is you never will. You never, ever will. But I did see an older lady on a podcast once say, stop focusing so much on making the right decision. Make the decision right. And I couldn't agree more. And I think it's taken me time to sit with that. I'm kidding. I'm not that girl from Wicked. But it's taken me time to fully understand how to do that. Last year when I wanted to move down here, that was the thing for me, is I was like, I don't know if that's what I should be doing. Like that's probably not what I should be doing. This year, I don't let those thoughts eat away at me. Like, what the hell am I doing? Should I be here? Should I not be? I try and be like, no, I'm going to like it. I'm doing this because I want to, and I did it, and I'm going to make it the right decision. Like, it's going to be right. And if in 2 months' time, I don't want to be here anymore, it wasn't a waste. Even Georgia for me. Why did I move to Georgia for 4 months, spend money on rent, buy a couch, buy all this furniture, furnish the place? Then I had to take it all out and try and sell the stuff, and like lost money doing that. Why did all that happen? I don't know, but for a reason, I don't regret it. You know what I mean? Like, just don't question yourself too much. And if you don't like something in your life and you want a change, you have to actively work at that. And someone's not going to come and do it all for you. And I do agree with that a lot too, because I think for so long I didn't know the answers to my questions and I wanted something else to just someone else or something else to be a sign or to give me the answer. And I don't necessarily think that God came down and sat in front of me and said, move to South Florida, like just do it. I kind of had to just trust myself. So I think we'll never really know if we're on the right path, but if you trust yourself and you try and make your situation right versus always being like, I don't know, or if you don't feel like something's right, figure out what you think might be or what you want to be and actively work towards that is what I would say. But guys, I'm going to get settled into my new place this week, and hopefully next week we'll have more to talk about, and I'm going to just be, I don't know, I still have clothes like all in my closet. I have dishes I need to wash. I still need to go grocery shopping. So there's a lot to be done, but I'm very happy, and I feel like this chapter is going to be really, really exciting and good for us. So yeah. Okay. Love you guys.